This article summarizes grower practices in the National Corn Growers Association National Corn Yield Contest. The value in that contest is really seeing what's attainable in terms of corn yield when management practices and growing conditions are really optimized. Typically, most of the attention goes to the record yields. We found that there's probably more to learn if you take a broader cut of some of the top yielding producers in that contest. We've really focused our attention on the entries that are hitting that 300 bushels per acre and above level to see what practices are being used there that might be employed over a broader acreage. One of the interesting findings is the rate of gain that's been achieved there relative to the rate of yield gain overall in the U.S., which has been about 1.9 bushels per acre per year. If we look at contest entries, we see over 5 bushel per acre per year yield gain. The contest entries are using the same genetics that are available to everyone. It really shows what's achievable when you have optimum conditions and really focus on optimizing management practices for higher yield. One of the most surprising findings to me was what we saw with plant population practices. Historically, we've really focused on putting more plants per acre, more ears per acre out in the field as a driver of yield. And when we look at historic yield gain over time, that's where the yield gain has been. What we see when we look in the National Corn Yield Contest is plant population is part of it, but that's not all of the story. And a lot of these high yields are being achieved with plant populations that aren't really that much higher than normal. We see plant populations there anywhere from over 55,000 plants per acre to under 30,000 plants per acre. So when we think about our three yield components, ears per acre, kernels per ear, and kernel weight, that plant density is just a part of it, and it's one we focus on a lot, but I think these contest results show that those other two are important too and can really be critical in hitting high yields. So management factors, soil fertility, fungicide applications, things that are mitigating stress later in the season that allow those ears to really fill out and kernels to fill are really critical as well to maximizing yield. I think the biggest takeaway as we look at the results from the National Corn Yield Contest is that there isn't a single formula to producing 300 bushel per acre corn. If we look at the contest results over the last few years, we've seen 300 bushels per acre achieved in over 30 different states. So the management practices and the yield constraints that a grower in Georgia is dealing with are going to be very different from what a grower in Wisconsin is dealing with. And we've seen 300 bushel per acre achieved in both those places. Understanding your own operation, the constraints on yield that you're dealing with, and looking at a broader set of high-yielding growers in the contest, understanding some of the management practices that are being employed there, identifying one or a handful of opportunities, learnings that you can take away from that to apply to your own operation.